Hi, it's not Queen Unique, and today I'm going to share with you a premonition that I had about my cousin. But before I get into that, I first want to give you a little backstory. So, throughout my life, when I would have, so I'm what you call clairvoyant. And so, clairvoyant means like you see the images. I literally see the images when I'm awake. It's like a daydream. And also precognitive. So, precognitive, they want to give labels to everything. To me, God just keeps speaking to me, right? Or the angels or whoever. But they say precognitive is when you can see something happen before it happens. So that's all I ever had. And it's usually in a daydream. So throughout my whole life, it's been in a daydream, right? But one day I'm on this psychic site. Remember when I say all the words that you say have powerful, powerful meanings, and you literally write your own destiny. And what you ask for, you get. That's why they have the saying, be careful what you ask for. So I'm watching, I go to the psychic site and I'm reading this lady's story. And in the story, she's saying that she sees things happening in her dreams. And then she was like, she was asleep and she had this dream that somebody had passed. And she woke up and she was telling her husband, honey, somebody died. And he's like, oh, girl, just go back to sleep, right? Nixing her off, blowing her off, like, which happens to me by my husband. He was the same way, still is. And so they went back to sleep, and then the phone rang at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was his mother telling him that either his brother or his uncle, somebody, a relative of his, a male relative, had passed. So I was like, oh wow, getting it in a dream will probably be way better. I wish I was getting it in dreams because I will probably be able to understand it more. This is my train of thought. And so lo and behold, I now get them in dreams. It's crazy. I've done that a lot, even with little things. So now I get them in dreams, right? So, okay, now I'm asleep. I'm having a dream. And in this dream, my cousin Erica is on her way to a funeral. So imagine watching a play and the stage is dark, right? This is how my dream was. The stage was dark, and then there was a highlight. You know how they put the spotlight on the character who's having their moment. So the spotlight was on Erica, and I and my sister Ranisha was standing right next to each other. We're watching Erica get ready for a funeral, right? So I'm watching her get ready for this funeral, and in the dream, because it's lucid, the dreams are always lucid, so I'm aware of some reality. So she's getting ready for the funeral, and I'm watching, and I'm like, well, it's not. So these her children. I'm like, it's not Brittany and Jay, because wouldn't I be going to the funeral? So I'm like, it's not them. And then I get mother. So in the dream, I get mother figure. So now I'm running through her mother, and so her grandmother's deceased. So her grandmother's name is Becky. I hope she don't mind me saying the names. So I'm like, well, Becky is already passed. And then I'm saying her mom, Emma, is already gone. And then I went to her aunt Joanne. So I'm like, Joanne is dead. Like I'm saying this in the dream while I'm watching her because I'm trying to figure out whose funeral is she going to. So, and because I had got mother figure. So then her only surviving aunt is Phyllis. And I was like, I didn't feel like it was Phyllis, right? So I'm watching her get ready, and then her husband, James, enters this. He's now standing right next to her. So while he's next to her, we're literally watching them two get ready for the funeral. So I wake up. Now, if I wake up emotional, I know it's fact. Never been wrong. I'm like 100% so far. So I wake up, my stomach is hurting, my heart is beating. So I call Ranisha because she's always been my go-to. Every time I have a vision, anything, I've always called her. Don't matter what, whether it's in the daydream form or the sleeping form or something is happening, she's always been my go-to. So I call her. It's 7:30 in the morning. I wake up 7:30 in the morning. I'm calling her. So I'm like, Ranisha, somebody's about to die. Erica's on her way to a funeral. So she's like, what? Who? I'm like, I don't know. That I didn't get the who. I just know that she's going to a funeral. And clearly we're not going to the funeral because we were watching her get ready for the funeral, and I wasn't emotionally attached to the funeral. right? And here's the thing. I knew it was a funeral and not a wake, because the wake I would be going to. It don't matter who passes. I knew it was a funeral and that I wasn't attending the funeral. So I'm like, well, it can't be Brittany and Jay, because we would be going to the funeral. And then I was like, I started telling her about Emma and Becky and going through Joanne. And I was like, and it's not Phyllis, because I'd be going to the funeral. Plus, I would be emotionally attached. And so she had a friend that had a car accident. So I was like, well, is it him? You know, I'm thinking maybe it's him. So then I'm thinking, and then I'm like, well, no, because James was in the vision and he wouldn't be going to his funeral. So I'm like, I don't know who it is, right? So here she go with her classic, call her. She does this every time. Every time I have a vision, she wants me to tell the people, no, I'm not doing that, right? So I'm like, I'm not calling her. And she's like, why not? I was like, what am I going to tell her? Somebody's about to die. Then she's going to be worried because I can't tell her who it is, because I don't know who it is. So I don't want her worried and going through stress and all of that, smoking up a pound of cigarettes or something. No. So I didn't want to put that burden on her. So I never called her. So every day, classic Ranisha, every day she's like, did Erica call you? Did Erica call you? Did Erica call? No, she didn't call me, right? Now, at the time, my daughter is 2 or 3, and she's going to a daycare center. And so now I got to give like places that you probably never heard of if you're not from Newark. But her daycare was on South Orange Avenue, right? And I always had a routine. I was coming from Maplewood. So my routine was always to go down Clinton at the back way. So I would come down Clinton Avenue to Sanford, cut over, go down 18th, and then across Vermont. All the time. Same way. Coming back, I would come up South Orange Avenue, go over West End, back to 18th, Sanford, and Clinton. Okay, so that was always my routine every morning. So now I take my daughter to the daycare, right? But while I'm at the daycare, something tells me to go see her father. And he was working at North Lumber on 14th Street. So basically, nowhere near the area that I go. Normally, I go up because Maplewood is up from Newark. This way, I was going down and across. So for some reason, it was like, go see Swift. I don't know why. I had no reason. But I was like, okay, right? I'm just following what I just heard. Okay. And I drive to Newark Lumber, which is on 14th Street. So when I get to Newark Lumber, I don't stop. I keep going. And then I'm like, why did I even come here? Like, literally. I went right past. I didn't stop and say, well, let me go say hi. I just kept going. And I was like, why did I even come here? Now, here's the thing. I have a routine when I leave Newark Lumber. Because, of course, he works at Newark Lumber. So I'm always at Newark Lumber. I used to buy stuff there. They're closed now. But I used to buy stuff there and everything. So, because I do real estate. So it's a kitchen cabinets. I used to get all my kitchen cabinets from there. So I now take the routine from Newark Lumber. And my routine from Newark Lumber is Avon to Montgomery or whatever block that my cousin Erica lives on. So I would always go that way, cut through there, and then take Clinton Avenue, because she lived off Clinton Avenue, but it was in the Irvington section. Same Clinton Avenue that takes me to Maplewood. So I keep going. I turn up Avon. I turn down her block, and I see James' friend, Kyle, outside. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, what are you doing here 9 o'clock in the morning? And he said, James' mother died. James is her husband. So that means Erica's mother-in-law had passed. And they literally took me down that way to get to Erica, because I wouldn't even known that his mom's had passed. Like, why would I go to Newark Lumber? It was absolutely no reason for me to go down that way. And then to cut through her block, because that's the way I always go from Newark Lumber. So they literally told me to go to Newark Lumber. So, of course, I pull over, and I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, this is crazy. And then I tell them the dream. And so she's like, why you didn't tell me in the first place? And I was like, because I didn't know who it was. Like, imagine me telling you that. Now you're worried about Brittany, you're worried about Jay, you're worried about James, well, you ain't worried about James because he was in the dream. But she's worried about anybody who's not in the dream who's close to her. Because even though I say, even if I tell her that I wasn't emotionally attached, she's still going to think, who is it? She's still going to be worried if it's someone immediate to her. And I didn't want to put that burden on her. But yeah, so it wound up being her mother-in-law. So that's pretty much the story. I'm sharing my stories with you. I'm gonna try to remember them all. People keep telling me, say this, don't forget this one. So I need to like write it down on a notepad just so I can stay not repeating myself. But yeah, so because I asked for dreams, I now get a full vision. And the way they are is literally like watching like most people, a lot of people don't dream. So I don't want to use that as an analogy, but if you're a dreamer, you know how you see everything happening, it's just like that. But it's clear. It's really, really clear. I can see who the people are. I can see everything, like what they're doing. The fact that I can see the black backdrop, and I'm conscious enough, like the dream is lucid enough that I know I'm dreaming, and I'm having a realistic conversation. Like, well, it can't be this person because she's already gone. Well, it's not this person because because literally I heard like mother figure. It's crazy. Like, so I knew it was on that level. And so I was going through everybody on her her mother's level. And this, what do you call it? Not crediting, but taking them off the list. Right? Disregarding them from the list because that wasn't possible. So yeah, so that's another paranormal, precognitive, clairvoyant experience that I had. Seeing my cousin going to a funeral and it wound up being her mother-in-law's. That's deep. So I thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you'll be here for the next classic, experience that I have, and share your thoughts below this video. Talk to you later. Peace.